we're very pleased to be joined today by Mark Tabbutt, the chairman, Saltchuk, to discuss this company's recent investment in a pair of educational partnerships in Puerto Rico. Mark, I genuinely appreciate your time to discuss Saltchuk, as this investment in developing a pipeline of skilled professionals and really the whole matter of workforce development across Saltchuk companies.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, for 2024, we ended the year, total revenues of the business were about 5 billion, and we had ended the year with about 8,900 employees. And we're very decentralized structure. We have a holding company. We called it the corporate home. And we have about 50 people that work there. Everybody else is out in our businesses, and we ended the year with about 32 different subsidiary operating companies. And the three things that they all do is they either move freight, they distribute energy, or they provide marine services.
So let's talk a little bit more about the investment in Puerto Rico that I referenced in the intro. As I understand it, it's actually two investments, one with the University of Puerto Rico at Mayagüez, and the second with the Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico. Can you just provide some of the specifics of that deal?
Yeah, we started in Puerto Rico in 1998 is when we first started providing service to the island. And we had a question. We'd heard a lot about the drain of talent leaving the island, people going to get their higher education on the mainland and not coming back to the island. The question was, is there a need to provide higher education for Puerto Ricans on the island initially, and then hopefully over time draw from the whole Caribbean. And we worked with the Boston Consulting Group, and they did a lot of work and laid the groundwork. And what we found out was, yes, there is a need. And so we in fact, with the University of Puerto Rico at Mayagüez, which has about 14,000 students, we found that they actually had already put a lot of thought into what a center for transportation and logistics would look like. They just didn't have the funds. And so their excitement made the decision very easy to support that. Polytechnic was after kind of a different sector to educate, more of a after work. Mayagüez is a residency school offering BAs and then also post that degrees. Polytechnic is more of, and when we toured it, it was like 5:30, 6 p.m. And just the traffic of people in town coming to get, trying to get better educated. And so they were both after different segments, and we initially had thought we're just going to pick one, and they were both so attractive that we're funding both of them.
But when you look at this investment specifically, why invest in Puerto Rico now?
Yeah, our giving program, again, we're super decentralized in decision making. We have advisory committees in Alaska, Hawaii, Pacific Northwest, Florida, and they are allocated every year money. And our priority has always been youth and education. But we believe the locals are going to know what the better impact of that giving is going to be. And so we let them drive that decision making. With Puerto Rico, what we're witnessing, we service it in a bunch of different ways. We have our U.S. flag, which is the towed operation coming from the U.S. mainland. We have foreign flag, which is our tropical operation, connecting it to other islands and also coming out of Canada. And then we have our logistics companies, Asset Light, Aqua Gulf was just added, Carib Trans, and we've got Strat Air, which is our air cargo operation out of Miami. We come in with 767s. And what we've found is that Puerto Rico has a growing amount of inter-island freight, Every year that number is going up, which indicates that they are growing as a hub for the Caribbean. And so there's more and more warehousing and then distribution out of Puerto Rico down island. And it makes a lot of sense. And we are happy to serve that growing need and throw more assets and people at that.
I know we're still very early. The press release just came out. But can you share your insights or your expectations, I guess is a better word, when the programs are up and running? How many students do you envision participating in the two programs? And tangibly, what do you expect for Saltchuk? I mean, in short, how will you define success of these investments?
Yeah, part of our financial commitment was setting up KPIs that the schools will report out on performance. And so we had agreement on expectations about what the output of this commitment is. And so we will have an advisory board that is being formed right now, chaired by Eduardo Pagan, and he is recruiting industry people. Part of their commitment will be providing internships at their company. But we see it as a pipeline for everybody to access new talent and keep local. And so with the KPIs that we put in place, we're expecting within a couple of years, 400 to 500 students in the programs. And we both have the education tied to the internships and asking them to look into special projects and do programs for the members of the group. And yeah, we expect first students in the program this year in 2025.
If you don't mind, I'd like to kind of broaden the focus a bit and just look at workforce development more holistically. And specifically, can you give an overview, I guess, of Saltchuk's investment in workforce development in a given year and, discussing how big the overall investment is and specifically how does it walk, talk, and look?
Yeah, last 2024, we gave away through the infrastructure that I mentioned 4 million of cash. I can't tell you the breakout on what went to workforce development. Here in Seattle area, there's a new maritime high school, and Foss has been very heavily involved and committed to the success of that organization. Um, OSG, which just joined our company last year, has made multi-year commitment to women leadership in the industry. Tote has also got a program with one of the academies. So it's kind of scattered around the business, but I think that all of us recognize that we have an aging workforce and we have to get ahead of that. And we have to do a combination of support, the ability to get people coming into the industry through education and internships and job opportunities, and then having a place that they feel really good about having a career.
In a sentence or two, can you best describe the workforce development need today across all Saltchuk companies?
Oh, it's significant. And we recognize that that's just going to be a growing need. And to try to attract people in, the investments throughout the organization and Starlink for our vessels is a game changer for so many of our crew that can FaceTime live their family members and connect with them. And we've tried hard to create a environment that people want to work in. We're like I said, we're very decentralized. We allocate and push out decision making, and we're trying to find really good people to make those decisions. They're closer to the set of facts. They'll make better decisions. And we've tried to create an environment where you'd be proud to have your kids work. And when we say that, we mean job safety. We mean respect for others, treat everyone the same, and career opportunity advancement, whether it be cross company or going up within the operating company that they join. And so we put our culture first. We feel like that's been how we've been successful.
But with that, when you look at the maritime sector today, can you just kind of discuss the mega trends that are driving Saltchuk's business, which are fundamentally changing the types of workers that you seek to attract and to retain?
That's a good question. The the central theme that we have, even though we do different services, is everybody's serving other people. And whether they're serving people out in Western Alaska, Ryanair flying out to a tiny village to deliver groceries and mail, delivering fuel in remote parts of Alaska. The one thing that we want shared throughout is people being proud of that our purpose is to serve other people, and to create an environment that people feel safe. We're looking out for each other. We say so focused on safety. We start every meeting talking about safety. The Saltchuk board meeting, every meeting starts with talking about safety, and we focus on an incident that just happened somewhere in the organization. The president of that operating company is required to report to the board. What are we doing about it? How can we make it safer? So just having people that want to be a part of a culture like that, I think that's the litmus test. And yeah, I think people, times have changed. People want to, have access to their families, like we talked about, and we got to provide that. We got to meet that need.
Okay, well, Mark, I genuinely appreciate your time. I just had one more question, and that question is simply why Saltchuk? And by that, I mean, what are the compelling reasons that a maritime or logistics professional should consider a career with Saltchuk, one of your companies, obviously?
Our goal is that when somebody spends a career at Saltchuk, is that when they retire with us, that they look back and they just feel like they were with something just awesome, and that they made a difference. And you don't know, you're part of a team, so you don't know how much was you, but you feel really proud of what you got done and what you did as a career. That's our goal, and we work every day to try and help that happen.